founder and CEO of Westgate Resorts, a timeshare company, sent an email to employees saying that if President Obama is reelected, he may have to lay off workers. Mr. Siegel, we now had a few bosses do similar things, including the Koch brothers. What are your anxieties about a second term for the president?
Well, first of all, you're mistaken when I say that I'm going to close down the company if he's elected. What we're going to do is probably, we can't stand another 4 years of like the last 4. What we're going to do is we'll probably discontinue our sales, but the company will always be there. We have 500,000 happy owners that we're going to service regardless of who gets elected. But as far as sales, which we're currently doing $500 million a year, that will definitely slow down if we have another 4 years like the last.
David, I don't know if you keep track of the in-trade contracts on a day-to-day basis, but whether you look at those, whether you look at the Gallup tracking poll, Romney has made a lot of momentum. He's narrowed the gap even in some key states like Ohio. Have you given employees any indication that their jobs are a little more safer than they were 2 weeks ago?
Yes, I met with a whole bunch of them today, and I told them things are looking good, but it's going to depend on how they vote.
But why? I mean, why would you need to lay off so many workers if the president does get reelected? Tell us specifics in terms of what policies would cause you to do so.
Lack of financing, mainly.
But the president's not in charge of financing. Connect the dots for us. Why?
Lack of financing and the increased cost of health care and higher taxes. That money has to come from somewhere, and it's going to prevent us from expanding, prevent us from growing. It's going to make my life miserable, and if I'm not enjoying what I'm doing, then I'm going to think about retirement.
When it comes to financing, sir, you run a real estate company in the wake of the bust of one of the biggest real estate bubbles in history. Do you think there's anybody who could have been in the White House to help you get more financing for real estate in the last couple of years?
I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but I can tell you what the last 4 years has been like under the Obama administration. I hope the next 4 years are going to be great. I can tell you that if Romney is elected, it'll be like a shot of adrenaline in everyone that's in business today.
Why?
Mr. Siegel, is it the tax policy? Is it the health care, Obamacare policy? How will Obama, I beg your pardon, how will Romney trigger this boom?
How will he trigger it?
Yes.
He's a businessman. He knows what to do. He'll make sure the banks are lending money.
But in terms of other policies, I mean, Romney wants to lower tax rates. He wants to lower the corporate tax rate in particular. And, of course, he says he's going to disband Obamacare, which includes all of its spending and taxing. So if Romney wins and he achieves those goals, how does that help your operation?
Give me more money to work with. I'll build more resorts. I'll hire more people. I'll do more sales. I'll put the construction companies back to work. I'll pay more taxes to the local governments. All of the above.
Well, how's business right now? What can you tell us about the real estate business and what you've seen in the last year?
All right. We're profitable, but business is flat. We're growing at a zero pace. We used to grow 20% a year. We were doing $1 billion in sales in 2008. We're now doing half of that. We had 12,000 employees. We now have 7,000. We're stagnant. We're doing good. Our profits are great, but we're stagnant. We're not growing. We're not employing people. We're not building buildings.
Finally, David, you made a lot of news when you created this initial memo and informed employees about the risks to their jobs. I assume you had to have taken a lot of blowback for that. Has it been worth it?
I've been getting 10 good letters for every one bad one. I think it's been worth it if it serves the purpose of getting Romney elected. If he doesn't get elected, it probably wasn't worth it. But I think an informed voter is a good voter.
Amen to that. David, thank you so much for your time tonight. Enjoyed the debate. David Siegel joining us as we continue to watch Bob Schieffer give some instructions to the crowd awaiting the candidates in Boca Raton. We'll go to John Harwood for one last recap before things get started here. John, what's the most important